Hello, everybody. Welcome to the All Day Football Show. I'm your host, as always, Jackson Kellogg. We got Week 2 NFL preview. Going to go over power rankings, game picks, and for you Patriots lovers like myself out there, we'll go do a quick analysis of their Week 2 matchup against the New York Jets. Let's hop right into it. These were the power rankings from last week, so getting a look at what I had there. This one looks very different as we have a lot of movement. The Rams move up 2 spots after a dominant victory over the Chicago Bears to put themselves in third. Tampa and Kansas City stay in the 1 and 2 spots. Buffalo moves down 1 after a tough second half loss to the Steelers. San Francisco is the biggest movers of the week, moving up 5 spots, coming in from the 10th area. They dominated the Lions, but the Lions were starting to come back, but the 49ers were able to hold up a victory. The 49ers more move up because of moving downs from teams that were above them. Starting looking at the second half of the top 10, we've got Green Bay that moves down 2 spots. They got absolutely dominated by the New Orleans Saints, who move up into the number 9 spot after not being ranked last week. Another team that wasn't ranked last week, number 7 Seattle Seahawks, who had a win against the Colts. Other teams to move down, Cleveland Browns moved down 2 spots after a tough loss to Kansas City. Patriots moved down a couple spots after a tough loss to Miami, where the Patriots played better, just couldn't hold on to the football on multiple occasions. A couple teams do drop out of the rankings all together. We have Baltimore that drops all the way out. We have Tennessee that drops all the way out as well. So both those teams, Baltimore losing in overtime to the Raiders on a very weird fourth quarter overtime matchup, and the Titans got absolutely obliterated by the Cardinals. Cardinals, you might notice, aren't in this ranking. The Cardinals were very inconsistent last year. I'm going to hold off on putting them in until they can get a little more consistent. These were the game picks from last week. Yeah, that didn't go very well. About half of these were wrong, which led me to a 7-9 record last week. That's what I'm sitting at right now. But these are my picks for this week. I picked the Browns to win at home against the Texans. Bills, Broncos, and Patriots are all going to win on the road against their respective teams in the Dolphins, Jaguars, and Jets. Steelers are going to get a win streak starting at home against the Raiders. They're going to go up 2. Chiefs are going to win on the road against the Ravens. I've got the Bengals and Rams going ahead and winning on the road against the Bears and Colts. And I've got the Chargers and Seahawks taking home wins against the Cowboys and Titans. Moving over into the NFC matchups, I've got Washington winning tonight on Thursday Night Football against the Giants. 49ers going to beat the Eagles. Saints will beat the Panthers. And then we've got 3 straight home victories there. Buccaneers beating the Falcons. Cardinals beating the Vikings. And on Monday Night Football, the Packers beating the Lions. Let's hope that the record looks a little bit better this week. Now looking at last week for the Patriots matchup, they lose to the Dolphins 17-16. I was so frustrated watching this game. I think the Patriots were so much the better team. Mac Jones played and looked so much better than Tua and a bunch of other quarterbacks around the league. I think he fits the Patriots offense very well. And I think the only really bad play he had was his first attempt at a throw, where he ended up throwing it backwards to Jonnu Smith, except you can't really do that. But luckily Jonnu Smith fell on it to prevent the third fumble of the game happening. And that was a key problem for the Patriots last week. Ramondre Stevenson had a fumble early and towards the middle of the game, which cost the Patriots on a very dominant drive. The problem with that was, after reviewing and looking at frame by frames after the game, Ramondre Stevenson actually didn't fumble the ball. He landed on the ground. The tough part was the refs ruled it a fumble, which I have a really annoying time with, is that when they review these things, and the idea that a call has to be clear and concise to overturn it, I felt like that was clear and concise and could have been overturned. There is a fault on Ramondre Stevenson, though. He knew he was down, which is why he didn't attack the ball after they let the play keep going, but it's the pros and the refs are so inconsistent. You gotta try and get that ball back. But there was another attempt later on. Game is 17-16. Patriots pushing down, having a great drive. We're about to have Mac's first fourth quarter 2-minute drill win of his career. And then Damien Harris fumbled on the 10-yard line. Damien Harris took like 40 snaps in the game. He led almost all the rushing attacks because Belichick benched Stevenson after the fumble, plus Stevenson was having a tough time in pass blocking situations. So Damien Harris ended up taking almost all the touches, and fatigue just got to him as on that last drive he has to come out on a play, and then fatigue just kicked in and led to the fumble. So that was how the Patriots lost. But good thing they're going against the Jets this week. So week 2, they're going to be playing the New York Jets on the road, I believe. The keys to the Patriots' victory, it's pretty simple. Don't fumble the ball. The Patriots would have won last week if they didn't fumble the ball. It's that simple. No turnovers. And also, no turnovers. Limit the penalties. Those were the 2 biggest problems last week. The Patriots had 8 penalties for like 84 yards. Limit the penalties. Stop having to kill drives by getting penalized. If they can get more disciplined and stop the penalties, which were mostly on the offense, then it can help keep the momentum going and be able to finish off drives with touchdowns. And 3, keep the Jets wide receivers out of open space. The Jets wide receivers are great playmakers. Corey Davis, their best receiver, had a field day against the Panthers. Zach Wilson, he can get the ball to his receivers. So if he's going to try and get it into Corey Davis' hands, my guess is that the Patriots are going to line up J.C. Jackson on Corey Davis and then try and rotate around between the other receivers depending on who they start putting out there, whether it's Mims, Crowder, and Elijah Moore, rookie second-round pick from this past draft. They have a bunch of good value receivers that gel together, kind of like a similar Patriots situation where they have a lot of wide receiver 2s and 3s, but not a designated wide receiver 1. I think they're trying to make that Corey Davis, but we'll see how that works out for them. But if the Patriots can keep tight with the receiver, something that they didn't do last week, which was really frustrating against the Dolphins, is the Dolphins kept running quick routes with Devontae Parker and Jalen Waddle because the Patriots were playing off coverage, trying not to get beat down the field. You can do that, but at the same time, you got to keep the press. If I'm running defense this week, I want to press the receivers at the line, but keep the safeties back a little bit just in case they get beat. Use the linebackers a bit more in coverage. The tough part is the Patriots don't have a lot of coverage linebackers. When they want coverages, they're going to bring in safeties and other corners, just DBs in general, to kind of fill that gap in. But I think they got to start working a bit more with linebackers, dropping back into pass coverage, or else the receivers are just going to be able to run free in the middle because they're going to be playing a lot of off-man, and the receivers are going to have plenty of room to run with. All they got to do is just not get beat down or not run down the field, and they'll be open. So the Patriots can better their pass coverage a bit. The pass rush was amazing last week. So was the run defense, so no complaints there. But this Jets team should be a fairly easy matchup. I've got the Patriots winning this game 27-13. Hopefully it can stay. They score early, run the ball later on, and just manage the game well. But those are my keys to a Patriots victory this week. That's it for week 2 in preview. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. Hope you all enjoy this week 2 of football. And let's go Pats.